Before we start, I'd like to ask if we could have a moment of silence for the events in Belgium today. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. It's always been my dream to change lives in deep and long-lasting ways. And that's why I'm happy to be here in Seattle at Habitat. 30 years ago, Habitat for Humanity started in King County with the goal to provide families a decent, safe, affordable place to live and call their own. And we're still doing it. As we look to the next 30 years, I hope to build on the foundation that so many wonderful people, many here in the room today, have built. Today, you'll see how your investment helped a family get off the roller coaster of housing uncertainty. You'll hear the experience of a single mom who raised 3 children and is retiring with dignity. You'll meet a woman whose family broke the generational cycle of poverty, all because of Habitat. You'll also hear from an amazing man who was given a chance and has built a life of advocacy and leadership. I am, of course, speaking of our keynote speaker from Massachusetts, Governor Deval Patrick. Before I go any further, I want you to join me in thanking a group of generous corporate sponsors without whom our work wouldn't be possible. This year, our corporate partners were responsible for over $200,000 of this luncheon support that will go right into building communities. We'd like to recognize them now. Please hold your applause until we have recognized all of them. Our green builder and our presenting sponsor is Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines. Our patron sponsors include Regents and Home Street Bank, as well as Farmers Insurance and PCL Construction. Our groundbreaker supporters include Selland Community Foundation, Unico Properties, and HCMP, as well as Deloitte, Eden Labs, and Wallach and Volk. Please also join me in thanking our other generous sponsors who made today's events possible. Thanks to you all. I'd also like to thank the elected officials who were here with us today. We couldn't do our work without you. And then also our pace setters, those who have made early gifts of $1,000 or more, all the way up to $50,000. Thank you all. Many of you are here because of a table captain. Our table captains are crucial to the success of this annual event, and they make a difference in the community. Thank you all. But most of all, I'd like to thank our volunteers. Habitat is an agency that exists because of our volunteers. They serve in so many ways, starting with our board of directors who brought me here to Habitat. Can I ask you guys to please stand up? And will all of our former board people please join them as well? So all our current and former board people, please stand up. Without your passion, your wisdom, your leadership, we couldn't do what we do. Thank you, and thank you for getting me here. Volunteers are the lifeblood of Habitat. Volunteers give their time at our office, construction sites, and stores. And I'm now going to ask a group to stand. If you do currently, or if you have ever volunteered, would you please stand now? and that includes our AmeriCorps volunteers. Yay for you all. Thank you all. Without you, we couldn't do what we do. One volunteer in particular I want to recognize is Phil Mockelstadt. Are you here, Phil? Phil has been volunteering for 17 years, adding up to 5,800 hours. Phil has volunteered for 10 different projects, including the completion of 9 housing developments and the opening of the Habitat store. If we had to pay him, well, I'd hate to think what it would cost. Last week, Phil received the Governor's Volunteer Service Award, only one of 5 awarded in the entire state. Today, I would like to award him our Habitat Hero Award. On behalf of everyone at Habitat, I want to thank you. I think this is it. I'm not sure this is it. Take it with you anyway. Or maybe you have to give it back over. There you go. Thanks, Phil. Thank you. Thank you. As Habitat's new CEO, I'm excited to build on the hard work put in by our staff, our board, our volunteers, our supporters, and our homeowner families. I've worked with many social service agencies, and Habitat's model of a hand up and not a handout is one of the most successful I've seen. There's a rich mosaic that makes up the fabric of a city. And I, for one, am deeply committed to urban living. I've lived in Queens, New York, Hyde Park in Evanston, in Chicago, and Buckhead in Atlanta. But the challenges in living in great cities are huge. New homes are expensive, and people in existing homes can't afford the upkeep. While a renter may be one paycheck away from homelessness, many low-income homeowners are one repair away from foreclosure. We all know there is a housing crisis in Seattle and King County. Too many people who do work here can't afford to live here. If they do, they're living in cramped and substandard housing. Housing instability is particularly hard on children. Do you know that each time a kid moves, he's set back or she's set back 7 months in educational achievement? We believe that having a safe, affordable place to live is the foundation for the success we hope for. It's the first step, I've learned, in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. With a stable home comes improved educational, vocational, financial, and health outcomes. Plus, homeowners contribute through their tax dollars and their participation to the stability of a local community. So homeownership is healthy for families and healthy for communities. How do we address affordable housing needs? Well, first we'll continue building single-family homes. I'm excited to tell you that 2 new home developments are opening to volunteers this spring. On the east side, our Sammamish project is finally underway, thanks in part to our construction partners KLB and PCL for their generous support. And in South King County, we'll launch our first community for people who have served in the military. This project is happening because of flagship support from our longtime and great partner, Delta Airlines. Thank you, Delta. And thank you to the veterans groups and all the other partners in this effort. We're also finishing up 9 units presently at La Fortuna in Renton, and thanks to the support to the Harnish Foundation and other public funders for that build. With the high cost of land, we ask ourselves, if there are other ways we can help families afford decent housing. There are many homeowners out there who have made the initial investment but need help keeping their homes. Sometimes a $4,000 repair can have as much impact as building a new home. Our repair program throughout King County is another means to stabilize communities. You'll hear later about the neighborhood revitalization program we conducted in Westway down in Federal Way. This is now a vibrant, stable community that we're proud to help jumpstart. Starting in the next few months, you'll see our focus turn to the Rainier Beach and Othello neighborhoods of Southeast Seattle, and we can't wait to get started. You also know that our work extends way beyond Seattle. When you donate to Habitat, 10% of your funds go overseas to help families around the world. Last year, Seattle helped to build 43 homes in Cambodia, Tajikistan, Bangladesh, and Nicaragua. And through our Global Village trips, you can participate. In fact, this year in January, we'll be heading to Cambodia. I hope you'll all join me as we bring Habitat overseas and work as a community together. Thank you.